Welcome back to Tablenauts. My name is Max, and I want to tell you about this weekend that I just spent in Columbus, Ohio at Origins Game Fair. I played some absolutely amazing games, hung out with some incredible friends, and had an absolutely awesome time. Today, I want to run you through everything that I've played, what I bought, the highs, the lows, and everything in between of my Origins 2022 experience. Let's jump right on into it. First and foremost, I want to just tell you that I had a fantastic time. It was a great convention. I loved it. I had some awesome games, some awesome food, met some fantastic people. I'm going to talk about my disappointments over at the end, but just to let you know, it was absolutely fantastic. Super good weekend. Awesome time, and I probably will say that far too many times throughout the duration of this video. So we're gonna go in order chronologically of everything that I got played. This is just what I played, not necessarily convention games, but what I got played. And then at the end, I'm gonna do a little top 5 for you, best experiences of the convention. So first and foremost, the first game I played Thursday night, when I got there, I played this with Kyle and Kenny, Brass Lancashire. I don't have this game, so I'm not going to show it to you, but this is the prequel to Brass Birmingham. They both share a lot of similar bones. I've never played either of them until this weekend, and honestly, pretty fun. Very like heavy, not like super heavy Euro. I don't know how to describe it, but the decision space is so like tight. You're vying over these building spots. You're not only that, but like if I put down a port, then you could just snipe it from me and use it up on the following turn before I get a chance to do so. Of course, I get benefits from that with having my port flipped, but this was like a bit of a brain burnery game, and that won't be the last of them that you hear about in this video, but I really enjoyed my first experience. It was not as overwhelming as I expected it to be, but at the same time, like it was certainly very strategical, gave me a lot to think about, and ultimately at the end, I believe I finished with 110 or something. Kenny had like 143, and Kyle had 140. So super close game between those two. I was running behind, but it's one of those games that you think about what you did wrong and how you can improve upon it in the future plays, and it definitely did that. I thought about it after the fact. I was like, man, I could have done this differently. I could have done that differently. It's not a game that I feel like I need to own, but I'm really happy to have played it, and will always play it if anyone brings it to the table and asks me to do so. So that is Brass Lancashire. Now, next up on the list, we played this the first day of the con, for me, which was Friday. We demoed about 60%. We could have done the whole thing, but we wanted to let other people jump in, of Empire's End. This is a upcoming Brotherwise Games game. It is designed by John D. Clare and beautiful Kwanchai Moria art. It is just stunning. This is unlike anything that I've ever played before as a whole. I can't tell you anything it really closely resembles. There are certain aspects like the components and like the card layering that's just, typical John D. Clare, space-based, stuff like that. There's also like blind bidding and public bidding combined. It's quite unique. I enjoyed everything about it. Basically, you're running down a track, and during that track, you're going through 3, if not a few more different phases, but disasters just strike, and part of your city will get destroyed, and you are basically bidding to not have your city destroyed. But whoever takes it destroys that city, but then they also add that card in their tableau, giving them more abilities as the game goes on. I really liked that push and pull, that knowing when to take it, because not only do you get that card, but you also get the resources on it. So if 6 food have been bid on, basically to not take that disaster, if I take that disaster, not only do I get the special card to slot in, I also get 6 food in my inventory. And of course I have to destroy something, but that's not to say it can't be repaired later either. Again, I don't really know what to compare this to, but I really liked it. Like, I'm very much looking forward to this coming out. Beautiful art, lovely designer, lovely publisher. Really just cannot wait to get my hands on an actual copy of Empire's End. I believe this is coming to crowdfunding, I'm not sure which, in November, I think. So keep your eyes peeled, but it'll still be quite some time before we get our hands on it. Next on the list, I played one that I do have here, Veiled Fate. This was the next game that we played over the weekend. I played this at 4-player count. I played with myself, Kenny, Kyle, and one of Kyle's friends, Chris. So it was a fantastic time. We had a blast. This is such a unique game. I honestly don't even know how to begin discussing it with you. I've played this twice, once a year and a half ago, prototype at 3-player, and then this one at 4. I just want to say out the gate, I had a blast. I had an incredible time, and I finished with 0 victory points. I did very poorly, but the game is just like fun and zany and wild, and like I had no problems at all absolutely enjoying myself and getting knee deep into Veiled Fate despite me being at 0 victory points 95% of the game. I think who won? I can't even Kenny? Did Kenny win? I think Kenny won, but they were all close. Chris, Kenny, and Kyle are all like at the 4 to 5 victory point range. I was nowhere to be found. This is like a deduction game, so essentially you're able to move any color piece that you want. There's 8 of them, I think, and in our case, there was a 4-player game. So we knew 4 of them were nobody, and we knew 3 of them were other people, 1 of them was ours. And we know who we are. We don't know who anyone else is. But like, I was purple, for example. I could move purple every time, but that's kind of showing my hand, right? So I could just never touch purple, but then it's up to them to kind of deduce what I'm doing and how I'm trying to influence the game. It's random, it's weird, it's fun, but I loved it. I had a great time with it, and you'll hear if it ranks at the end of this video. That is Veiled Fate by IV Studios. Next on the list, we played another game that I have with me, and that is Green Team Wins. This is by 25th Century Games. This is a party game in which you always want to be on the more popular side of the question. So let's read the back of the box real quick. Who would make the best boss? I can't see the third option, but I see 1, the Scarecrow, 2, the Tin Man, and 3, let's go with the Cowardly Lion. I have no idea if that's what it actually says. And you want to basically pick the result that you think other people will pick. So if you're in a 6-player game and 3 people pick the Scarecrow, 2 people pick the Tin Man, and 1 person picks the Cowardly Lion, the people who picked the Tin Man and Cowardly Lion are on the orange team and they don't score. But if you guessed the most popular one, you flip to the green side and you score points. As long as you stay on the green side, you score more points throughout the game, 2 points every time you get on it. But if you're wrong, you flip back to the orange team, no points for you, and when you flip back to green finally, you still only score 1. So I really like this. Kyle, I'll let Kyle talk about it in his own upcoming Origins video. I don't want to steal his thunder, but for me, I think it's going to be compared to Just One a lot. It's competitive rather than cooperative, but I think it gives a very similar experience. I'm not sure. I need to play this one more before I can tell you, like, this is the next Just One, this is better than that, or it's just as good. I'm not there quite just yet, but I had a lovely time with this. Absolutely had a blast with it. So happy I picked it up. I actually played the prototype at PAX. Just as fun, if not more now with a finished edition. I absolutely recommend you giving this a shot if you like those kinds of party games. Absolutely had so much fun with this. Probably played it 2, 3, 4 times throughout the weekend. So great game. That is Green Team Wins. Next on the list, I played a game I don't currently have with me, and that is Moonrakers. This is another IV Studios board game. This is the big, not deduction, that's Veiled Fate. This is the big, like, deck builder negotiation game where you're going on missions and trying to fulfill contracts. First one to 10 victory points wins. I've mentioned that this game kind of suffers from the Munchkin problem, but not. I want you to know that just so you can like understand where I'm coming from in comparing it. But basically, it's a race to 10 points. Fortunately for us, in Moonrakers, you have absolute power. You can't basically be screwed over by a friend if you don't invite them on the contract. So if you get to 8, 9 points, you can complete a 1 or 2 point contract by yourself and no one can stop you. So unlike Munchkin, where you're just getting like bad cards played against you and it feels really terrible and feels really bad, this is not that. I was actually able to negotiate with Kyle, who joined me on a contract to get me to 9 points, which was a calculated risk on his side. He wasn't certain. He even mentioned, he was like, you might have an objective that wins this, but if you don't, I'm going to win. So it was like a calculated risk on his part. Unfortunately for him, I did have an objective there, so that actually pushed me over the edge to 10 points. I like Moonrakers. I'll discuss it a bit more at the end of this video. I really had a good time with it. I've heard nothing but absolute praise for the expansions, so I'm really, really looking forward to trying that out. But Moonrakers, great game, really enjoyed it. Next on the list is Ankh? And that's because I kind of set out and helped with rules and helped with a bit of strategy for Kenny, who had never played, but it was a 5-player game of Ankh and we had 6 people, so I didn't realize Kenny hadn't played before. We were kind of just going to work together, but because I didn't realize he hadn't played before, I let him fully take control of our god, which was set, and I kind of just helped a little bit, helped understand some rules. I introduced the Pharaoh expansion to other people, so Ankh is great. Ankh with the gods that they were playing with at the 5-player count was wild. Like, that board was absolutely congested. I don't think I've ever seen Ankh so congested. You had Osiris, meaning he was spawning people in different locations, and he had his little zones that no one's able to walk on. You had I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but her warriors don't die if they're next to gods. It was just like, it was weird and wild, and you didn't have the crocodiles, and no one was in the water, and it went on really long too. I still had a good time watching it. I hope Kenny had a pretty good time playing it, but I could see that might have been an overwhelming first play of Ankh. I've played it 4, 2, and 2 so far, and that was just absurd. It was fun to watch. It was crazy, but like, I can see that would be overwhelming. So I wanted to talk about it, but I personally did not get a chance to play it. Next on the list is Mythic Mischief. This is another Ivy Studios games. It was Ivy Studios weekend, guys. But Mythic Mischief is their upcoming one. It's not quite yet released. It is basically, you are a clique in high school, a mythical high school. You are in the library, a mythical magical library, and the Tome Keeper is after you and the other students. But you, in your clique, want to basically manipulate the board, manipulate the Tome Keeper, and manipulate the other students so that they get caught more than you. It's a battle for 10 victory points, and if you get to 10 victory points by having the other students caught 10 times, you win. If you get caught 10 times, the other opponent wins. Super duper fun game. It's like an abstract asymmetric game. I played the witches, Kenny played the zombies, and Kyle played the jock Frankensteins, I think is who it was. And what's really cool about this game is we played at the 3-player count. It was not a 1v1v1. It was 2v1. It was me and Kyle versus Kenny. And it worked really well, in my opinion. I know for certain that we all three enjoyed it. Kyle and I were very high on it. Kenny, I think, was also. I just don't want to speak for him without knowing too much. He can chime me down in the comments below. But I had so much fun with this game. Me and Kyle were able to combine our powers. So we were weaker, as in Kenny was buffed up because he was by himself. He had more things to do. He had more, or not necessarily more things to do, but his abilities were more powerful. But we had 2 different factions working together. So Kenny was buffed up. He had 2 people, meaning he can get caught less. We had 3, meaning we can get caught more. And his people were more powerful. But we had more unique abilities because we were spread across 2 different factions. And it was just a blast. This game was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I did not back this game when it was available, and I deeply regret that now. So if you did, I very much hope that you're excited about it, and I hope that I don't stray you wrong. I enjoyed this so much. This was just so fun, so strategical. The teacher, I forget his name. Oh man, I should have remembered it. I had it on top of my head, then I lost it. If you're watching this, you did an incredible job teaching. Austin, if you're watching this, whoever taught us, Angelo, I want to say was his name, did a superb job. Not only did he keep us invested, he also kind of showed us a bit of the strategy. Not enough that we weren't able to discover stuff on our own, but a couple examples of how wacky and how cool this game can be. Kyle and I were able to win this game 10-9 on the final activation. As soon as he activated that last thing, say we didn't get the 10th point, Kenny would have gone and we would have instantly lost. We racked our brains for a couple of minutes there and were able to finally figure out a combination of abilities using distractions and moving bookshelves and pulling characters that we were finally able to set it up to when the Tome Keeper moved 3 spaces, he was able to hit all of them. Actually, I'm sorry, that's not true. He hit them before he moved and then into more to finish it out. Wow. Such a great experience. I literally stood up dead center of the convention where the IV booth was and like cheered. I screamed and I high-fived Austin and I high-fived Angelo and I high-fived Kenny and Kyle and like we were going nuts. It was just, man, that game was fun and I want it so bad. I want that game so bad. Okay, I've talked enough about Mythic Mischief. Now on to Disney Sorcerer's Arena. I don't have it here because Doolin's borrowing it right now, but this is like the Disney skirmish game. There will absolutely be dedicated content on this in the future, and you already know some of my thoughts, but I will jump in and say that I did play with the first expansion, which is Rising Tides. Kyle was able to jump in. This was his first game ever with Moana, and then I jumped in with not Lilo, but with Stitch. Neither of us played with the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, Davy Jones. But Stitch and Moana were really cool. I really liked what they did. Stitch was very thematic, kind of a wild card. Basically, most of his cards had like 2 abilities. And it was like, if Stitch has an even number of health, he does this. If Stitch has an odd number of health, he does this. And I thought that was super cool. I really liked that. And Moana is like tossing down water tiles that they can move freely over. And she gets special benefits when they're all out or with 2 of them out. I really liked this game. I really like the expansion characters. Disney Sorcerer's Arena is one that is not like on the upper echelon of games for me, but like it's close. I really dig it. I don't know. It's not, I do not want to compare it yet to Unmatched or something like that, although it absolutely deserves comparing because I haven't played it enough, but it's really good and it's Disney, right? Like it's an infinite game. I know there's already been another expansion announced with Jack Skellington. I'm all about that. Mother Gothel, I'm all about that. Like, so many different people are going to be added into this game. And I think there's basically an unlimited amount of, like, expansions they can do for it. So I'm excited to see where they go. But I can say for certain the Rising Tides expansion adds some really unique mechanics, and I think Davy Jones is the most interesting and also complicated character of the bunch, but we didn't actually get to play with him because we chose not to get into complicated stuff in a teach for Kyle. So that's Disney Sorcerer's Arena. Next on the list, I played Decorum, or Kyle and I did. Decorum was really fun. It's like a co-op game. It's a co-op game of, I forget what what the word is, but like marriage. I don't know. It's something about cohabitation being petty. I can't recall it. Whatever. I don't think that's marriage either. I have a happy marriage. I love my wife. I don't know why I told you that, but it deserves being told. Anyways, Decorum was fun. We played the first scenario, which was just far too easy. Far too easy. I think that maybe someone should be sitting there and be like, you ever played like strategy board games before? All right, we're gonna move you to scenario 3. Is this your first time playing board games? Or we're gonna move you to scenario 1. It was just so easy, and although I enjoyed the puzzle that it provided, we finished in like 15 minutes and wasn't a whole lot of thinking to go on, but I did enjoy the thinking that you had to do, like trying to strategize and figure out what to say and what they put down or what they removed or what they might be going for. I thought it was fun. I'd be happy to play it. I really think it's a game that the Doolins will really like. As long as after scenario 1 it progresses in difficulty. That was far too simple, but I do anticipate, that was just a product of us playing like the tutorial scenario. So then I played a game called List Off. This is a trivia game, fun, fast-paced game of skill and knowledge for 4 or more players, which I did not find to be true. In fact, I've played this twice at 2 and 3, so I didn't read that when I purchased it, but this is from Bloat Games, and Bloat Games is a publisher, predominantly an RPG publisher in the Louisville area, so I really just wanted to support them, went ahead and purchased this at the con, and also I just like trivia. So Kyle and I played this, and then Devin Talks Tabletop, and I played this, and we had an absolute riot of a time. It's real simple. Basically, there are actual action cards and then trivia cards, and the trivia is 1 through 8, and you roll a die to see what category you get. And rather than it being a simple question that you have to know the answer to, it's a round, and everyone has to answer it until there's only one person remaining. So, for example, if it was I don't know, professional basketball players, there's way too many that would last forever, but Steph Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, it didn't say active, and it just goes around until someone's unable to do that, or until there's only one person remaining, I should say. I thought it was really fun. I quite liked it. Super simple, easy game. I will say it has 96 action cards and 96 category cards. I would have preferred there be less action cards and more category cards, just from my standpoint. The actions are cool. I do like them, but it almost feels like there's too many of them. So you have a hand of 3. It's not that bad. But anyways, that's my 2 cents. So that is List Off. After that, I played. Oh, this is a big one. I'm gonna have to reach. Oh, you didn't see that. I'm not gonna edit that out. If you caught it, you caught it. You saw what's coming. Then we played Forbidden Stars. We played this at the 3-player count. This was Kyle, Devin, and myself. After we played List Off and ate at Roosters, we went back to Kyle's house, and Devin taught us this game. This beast of a game. A teach and a 3-player play went on for a very long time. And I will take a bit of the blame for that, actually. I have never been more stuck in analysis paralysis than with Forbidden Stars. Literally ever. I don't think I've ever been stuck like I was playing this game. And I think that that's a positive. And I do think that would go down with more experience and not jumping into it directly after a teach and it not being midnight. But this game was great. Freaking awesome, dude. This is a space opera, but primarily a combat space opera. I do want to compare it to TI4, but whereas TI4 has more of the negotiation and politicking and more of the like, you can do whatever you need to do to win, this is a bit more straightforward. It's still a complicated game, but I mean, you have to go out into the space and into other people's zones and get your objective markers. There's not objectives for building certain tech or for capturing a certain zone. Well, yeah, your objectives. But like, whereas in TI, you can really have factions that turtle and win. That's not possible here. And I think Kyle learned that. Kyle played the Orcs, which are, I think, the most aggressive faction, and kind of turtled up a bit and ultimately finished the game with 1 objective marker, whereas I had 2 and Devin had 3. But it's just, you have to go. You have to go. You have to go get your objective. You have to go out there and fight. And it is awesome. It's like a deck builder. It's a dice chucker. The combat is excruciating and so unique. But the big thing is placing down your order tokens. You have 8 order tokens. There are 4 different orders. You have 2 tokens of each, and you're placing them on various zones in the galaxy. And then at the end, when everyone has placed all 4 of theirs, you resolve them from top to bottom. Meaning if I stacked all 4 of mine, for example, in one location, say I wanted to build, like I wanted to deploy a place to build a factory, and then I wanted to deploy units, and then I wanted to capture the resources, and then I wanted to strategize. Say I put all 4 of those things down. Kyle can literally just place one of his on top, and that means the entire round goes ahead of me. And once Kyle pops his off, I can take my 4 actions. And that may leave me to taking all 4 of my actions at the end of the round, and no one else goes after me, and everyone went before me. And it makes for such unique and brain-burny rounds where you're like, I need to advance to this zone, but before I do that, I need to build in this zone. And it would be helpful if I strategized and upgraded this card. And because I need to, like, I want to advance here or something, but then the moment someone blocks something off and you have to flip that advance token before you're ready, sorry, man. It's so cool. You need to like bluff. And I think I'm playing this again this week at 2-player, which I'm very interested to see how that goes. This is a game that has made me, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. I'm not saying it's jumping to the top 10. I'm not saying anything like that. But I've not been able to stop thinking about Forbidden Stars since I played it. I can't wait to play it again. I am a fan of like the Grim Dark 40K, and honestly, you don't need to be to enjoy this game. It is an epic strategy space war game. And it's just so asymmetric. All the factions are so unique. I just want to gush about it forever. I really want to play it again. And I'll report back when I have more to say. But as it stands right now, freaking great, dude. Freaking great. So happy I found a copy because this is out of print and unlikely to ever come back in print due to a falling out with Fantasy Flight and Warhammer, which is Games Workshop. That's the name. Next on the list, I played, not my copy, but I do have a copy, Glenmore 2 Chronicles. I played Kyle's copy at his house. We just played, I don't think we dived into any of the Chronicles. We just played like a basic game, and it was really funny. after the fact, me and Kyle were discussing the stark differences, not in gameplay, I'll tell you what, of Forbidden Stars and Glenmore. And it was really funny because, like I said, Forbidden Stars hurt my brain. Like, that is easily the most stuck I've ever felt in a board game ever. I mean, I'm talking more than the time I played TI4, more than Ankh, more than all those things. That was easily the most like, and the problem was, I think, is that I was close to winning. The beginning of the game, I didn't take nearly that long to figure stuff out. But when I got close to winning and I knew it was tight, I knew that I could maybe figure it out, but that Devin probably had it. I wanted so badly to figure it out, but ultimately I didn't. And then in this game, which I very much enjoyed, dude, we finished in like 40 minutes, an hour flat with the teach. I mean, I was just like, yep, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Here's where we're going. I was like drafting tiles very fastly, taking my turns. And Kyle was like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody play Glenmore that fast. But you took forever on Forbidden Stars. I just thought that was interesting. I beat Kyle 92-91. And I'm sure he'll talk about it in his video. But this was the theme of the weekend. I think he lost like 4 or 5 games by a combined total of like 10 points. It was incredible. It was such a fun weekend. So that's Glenmore 2 Chronicles. I didn't really talk about that game. I should have, but like it's typical like Euro game. You're adding stuff onto your city, I guess, and you're activating anything around it. You're just basically like drafting tiles and kind of like Patchwork where you move ahead and other people have time to catch up to you. It's basically that, except for instead of time, it's just amount of tiles. So if I jump way ahead, it's theoretically possible for someone to just take each tile behind me, but of course that's going to spend a lot of their resources and maybe not be good for them because you don't want the largest city. If you have extra tiles, you actually lose 3 points per tile, and that was kind of how I beat Kyle. At the end there, I was going to have 2 more tiles than him, I was going to have 1 more tile than him, which would have been a 6-point swing. I lose 3 instead of him. But I was able to discard 2 tiles, which knocked me down below him. And so he actually had the game in the bag until I was able to do that. And I won by 1 because of that 6-point swing. So that's Glenmore 2 Chronicles. Very much enjoyed it. And the final game of the convention was a game I just picked up spur of the moment because I'd heard nothing but good things about it. And that is Dice Miner. This is by Atlas Games. This is a dice drafting rolling game in which you are mining dice from a mountain, and it's basically you're trying to score victory points in whatever way possible. You have tunnels, meaning like sets of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs, I should say, and then you have like gems, which are just the pips or the points, and then you have dragons, which are negative unless you have a shield, in which case they're positive. Or if you have 2 or 3 shields, they're actually multiplied by that amount of shields. Same with the rock falls and the pickaxes. And then you have like ways to re-roll your dice. And you have beer, which means like you can pass them a dice and take 2 dice from the mountain. Really, really cool. I actually am very, very pleasantly surprised by Dice Miner, which I played twice. And I'm actually going to use this as an incredible pivot to my 5th favorite experience at the convention, Dice Miner. I really like this game. I really like it. I mean, it's easy, it's beautiful, it's fun. You just chuck dice on top of a mountain. It's strategically figuring out how to best utilize those dice and where you need to draft from. And it's just like light and approachable for the whole family. I'm really, really, really excited to play this with Doolin, with my wife, with my family. I think it's going to be a hit, and it absolutely was for me. So for just seeing it and being like, I've heard good things, I'm going to pick it up, to actually playing it, very, very happy, very, very pleased I picked it up. I definitely see this one staying around for quite some time as a nice like entry weight game. I really, really loved it. So if you have any thoughts on Dice Miner, I'd love to hear it. Then number 4 on the list, my 4th favorite experience of the con, sorry Green Team wins, was Veiled Fate. Absolutely great game. Like I said, loved it. Came in last place with 0 points, but I just had so much fun. This is a game that I will not ever blanket recommend you go pick up. I love you, Ivy Studios. I love you, Veiled Fate. It is awesome. But I can see this being a favorite game for many game groups and an absolutely hated game for other game groups. I think it's great. To clarify, I love it. And I want to play it at lower and higher player counts. Actually, Austin, not only the person that we speak to at IV, he also had his hand in Veiled Fate more than the others. And his favorite player count is 2 and 7, which I think is just so cool. And at higher player counts, you get teams. But the fun thing is, you don't even know who is on your team. Like, you know that someone else has your same color, but you don't know who. And I think that is so cool. I really, really like Veiled Fate, and I recommend you to look into it. But don't just go willy-nilly buy it off my recommendation. You'd be doing a disservice to you and everyone else. Look into it, because I think it deserves it, and I love it. But just know, it's wacky, it's luck-based, it's weird, it's deduction. It may not be for you, but it's certainly for me. 100%. I love it. Can't wait to play it more. Veiled Fate. Number 3, which, there are certain things that I wanted to put here and certain things that I struggled to put here. Green Team Wins might even deserve a spot in the top 5, but spoilers, it's not there. But one of them that I struggled to put here because I didn't play it all, but I really wanted to put here, is Empire's End. This is that Brother Wise Games, that Quan Chai Moria art, that John D. Clare design. I really, really liked it. So fun. Cannot wait for it to come to crowdfunding. I hope we're able to review a copy for you, because, man, it was just a blast. It's right up my alley, like a nice weight. Still light to medium, well, maybe medium, just medium weight, but I like that, man. I like those games that are just like nice, fun, strategical. This one was one of them for sure. And of course, it's absolutely beautiful. Quan Chai Moria does amazing stuff. So absolutely looking forward to it. Keep your eye on it. It's going to be a while, but definitely check it out when the time comes. My second favorite experience of the convention, I feel like you've probably narrowed down the top 2 by now. If you haven't, you weren't listening. Go back. I'm just kidding. Number 2 is Forbidden Stars. This is the second favorite experience of the con for me. It blew my mind. It hurt my brain, but I can't stop thinking about it. I want to go back to it right away. I want to play it again right away. I want to try out the different characters right now. I want to invest in the fan-made expansion with 4 new factions right now. I freaking loved it. I'm so happy I got it before it was too expensive. I got it as a deal from a friend, Victor. Thank you for selling it to me. This game's a riot. I cannot wait to play this more. I have different weird thoughts about the player count. It's interesting. There's no consensus on this game. There's no consensus, except for maybe that three's good. But then again, no, because I watched a review that said it's bad at everything but 4. It's so weird. The vast majority of people, not the vast majority, it seems like 51% of people say it's best at 2 and 3, to never play it at 4. And there's others that say it's terrible at 2 and terrible at 3 and to only play it at 4. And it seems really weird. But I want to play it at all player counts. I will say I'm most intimidated by 4 because 3 was already incredibly long. But we'll get there. Now, it comes as no surprise. The game of the convention for me, Ivy Studios' Mythic Mischief. Wow. That game was amazing. So fun. I want it. I want it right now. I want it in my hands right now. I want to play it with Dula tomorrow. I want to play it with Kenny on Wednesday. It left me near speechless with how much fun I had. This is just one experience. I don't want to shill too hard. This is one experience. I can't talk about the game as a whole, the balance issues, how it holds up 10 plays in. I can't talk about that. Hopefully I'll be able to in the future, but as it stands, I cannot. From one play though, this game was fan-freaking-tastic. I loved it. And I hope that if you backed it, you love it too. And if you didn't, call me, Discord me, link in the description, whatever. I will buy it off of you, unless I already have my own copy, because this game rocked my socks off. Just like Forbidden Stars, can't stop thinking about it. Except for I'm literally actively repressing those thoughts from my brain because I won't be able to play it again for months. I think it's on boats right now, so congratulations, Ivy. That was a really quick turnaround. Thank you. Good job for you guys. But I want it now, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get my hands on it. But that game is freaking dope. I loved it. Now, real quick, before we sign off, just want to talk about a few disappointments. Before I sign off, I want to talk about a few disappointments. Now, nothing was bad. This was a great con. Everything I played, every game I listed off, I enjoyed. Every single one of them. But I want to talk about a few disappointments, a couple of which are funny, one of them which is whatever. I just wanted to give you a little bit of diversity because I've been gushing the entire video. So I didn't get to see everyone that I hope to see. I didn't get to I didn't get to hang out with everyone that I was hoping to hang out with. In fact, quite a few people that I didn't get to see. So I walked around the con all day Friday, most of the day, half the day Friday, all day Saturday, and then I didn't actually go Sunday because I went disc golfing Sunday morning and soaked my shoes. They got soaking wet. And I was like, well, I'm not going to the con now. So Kyle and I just stayed home and played board games. But I really wanted to see more of you, fans, friends, content creators, publishers even. I really wish that I would have spent more time spending time with you. I expected that to be my Sunday, and then I just didn't go because my shoes and socks were drenched, like it was a puddle. Like walking in them felt like a puddle. It was wild. Anyways, that was one of my biggest disappointments, was not seeing you. If you were there and didn't see me, I'm sorry. I feel bad too. I really, really, really wanted to hang out with more of you folk, and I just wasn't able to. So, biggest disappointment probably. Another disappointment, and I hesitate to say it was, but I wouldn't give you my straight up feelings about it. I think I'll really like this game, but Decorum was just too easy. It was just way too easy. I'm 98% certain that it's because we just played Scenario 1, which is probably a tutorial. But that was far too easy. I enjoyed the puzzle, but Kyle and I finished it in 15 minutes and walked away, and we were like, that was a cool puzzle. That was really easy. And so it was just almost it was fun, like I said, the puzzle, but we needed more of a challenge to get more into it. I do like it, as far as the mechanisms, the mechanics, how it works. I really liked that. That was cool. I take this thing away, I swap it back out, I put a thing away, or I put thing there, whatever. And then trying to deduce what your teammate has. That's cool. That's fine and dandy. I just need a more complex scenario, of which I imagine there are plenty of them. So this is not a Decorum review. I'm just strictly speaking on the actual experience that I had. I liked it, but it was too easy. And last but not least, two major disappointments from this convention is that I didn't walk home with Empire's End and Mythic Mischief. All right, I wouldn't have walked home either way, but I didn't come home with Empire's End and Mythic Mischief. And that's not to say publishers should have given them to me. I don't think either of them were available to be given out. I'm not saying that at all. But man, I want them. I want them. It's been a while since I've had such a strong desire to own a board game. I've not had that real I need this game. There used to be a time where I was buying games left and right. I need this one, and I'd play it, but I need this one that I play, whatever. But now I'm man, I need those games. And to finish it off, yes, the con was incredible, but these games are made because of the people, right? I love these games, and I'm gushing about Mythic Mischief, about Forbidden Stars, Empires, and Veiled Fate, whatever. But I played with some incredible friends. Kyle, Kenny, Devin, Kyle's friends that we hung out with. You guys made the weekend what it was. Austin, Johnny, Chris, whoever else it was, whoever else that I met up with who taught me games, who showed me such great love, who told me they liked the channel and liked what we do, who sat down with me and ate some food and we hung out and played a game. You all, every single one of you, made Origins what it was for me, which was an incredible convention. And you made these games probably better than they should be, because man, I just had so much fun playing games with you guys. So thank you so much for allowing me to play with you and have a wonderful Origins 2022 experience. And I'm hopeful that Gen Con provides a similar experience also. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, click like, click subscribe, comment down below. And if you want to throw some money at the Tablenauts crew so we can continue farthering our content and buying gear, join the Patreon, link in the description below. We'll see you next time. And for now, I told you last video I didn't have one. I still haven't thought of one.